Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Yeah, I thought, we obviously had a rough third quarter, and I thought we turned it over. We didn't get great looks. I think we were making the right play. The ball was stopping, and that always we have to. When things aren't going the way we want them to, individually or collectively on the offensive end, we still have to guard. And with the lead, that didn't happen. And then I thought we dug in, at that point, and obviously played really good defense in the fourth quarter. We have to have that focus on the defensive end and care as much about blocking somebody out and communicating in a certain situation on a switch as we do what's going on the other end. I think there's times when our focus is too much on what's happening there and not on what's happening here. So when you're turning it over, that makes everything hard. We knew this was, we talked about the key to the game is it's a possession game. And we didn't execute on that part because we turned it over. But to your original question, as I'm rambling on, I liked how we guarded, particularly down the stretch.
To your point about turnovers, specifically in that third, it was 9 of your 20 came right then. Did you feel like they were kind of compounding on each other as it's kind of spiraling down?
We usually point to a couple of things that, the reason we turn it. One, we have poor spacing, and we're playing in a crowd, and we don't pass. Those things kind of go together. And then when we did pass, there were bad passes. We passed the ball to the other team, we got tipped, we were throwing one-handed passes. When we needed a ball fake, we just didn't have the focus on our ball security, and we didn't have focus on the little things that allow us to move the ball and for it not to stop. And when the ball sticks with our group, we're just not as good a team. That's plain and simple.
Hey Coach, seems like CJ's mid-ranger seems like to provide this Hawks team a new way to open up on the offense side. So do you feel like this could be something that we'll be missing probably in the previous season?
Yeah, CJ made some big plays for us, and he's got the ability when we were getting pressure and we needed to attack to create. I would add that we want to be selective, and he is selective about our shot profile. We shot almost 53s the other night in Memphis, and we only shot 26 tonight. And what that tells us is that when we drove to the basket, when we did get by, we didn't have our eyes out. We were taking harder shots and not getting clean looks from three. If we only take 26, that's a pretty big difference. Like half the amount of threes in a given game. And I didn't think that had as much to do with how they were guarding us as much as it did our focus. And to your point, particularly whether it's late game or late clock situations or versus pressure, CJ's ability to do that is something that really helps our team.
Coach, what have you seen from Jalen these past few games down the stretch and being able to take advantage of?
Well, I think we've been methodical about how we've attacked late, and I think it's important for us to understand there's a difference between how we want to attack the last 5 minutes of the game versus the first 43 minutes of the game. We can't play that style of basketball for the whole game, and that's when it does get stagnant. And JJ's challenge is to feel those situations, and that's a responsibility that he has that I think he has embraced, and continuing to work on that and playing without the ball and running and doing a lot of the things that he's doing for us. It's a huge part of who we are as a team, and he's pivotal to that. So we want both. I want everything from Jim.
Coach, how important was it? The team has been struggling a bit at home. How important was it, back-to-back wins, and especially this win tonight at home?
Yeah, I mentioned this before the game too. You always want to play well at home, and I know the Boston game, not to go back too far, but the Boston game was a painful loss. I would say that we were, the 5 guys that started the season for us, that game we had 1 of the 5. And coming back from the West Coast, 2 time zones, we have to be more ready to play in those circumstances. And it shouldn't matter. We have to grind through those things. And I thought we did against Milwaukee. We just really didn't shoot. We played better against Milwaukee than we did tonight, in my opinion. Certainly on the offensive end, we didn't have the stops late. That was the difference in the Milwaukee game. So having those 2 games, one where we just got manhandled, and that's I don't care what the circumstances are around that. We have to own that. A game playing well, and not getting stops late. So to come out tonight and be able to grind out a win, in front of our home crowd is really important. And I think people can feel the way our team competed on the defensive end late, and that's what won the game.
I know you always wanted to defend without fouling, but this is the season best 9 free throw attempts allowed in the game. Is there anything that's attributable to in this particular matchup, or just?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think you can picture the possessions that we were, had done a good job containing the ball, and then stayed disciplined throughout the possession when there was a shot fake, another shot fake, somebody stepping around trying to draw contact. I also think something we've talked a lot about is just our help coming sooner, so that guy coming over is more of a deterrent where we don't get in a situation where people are running into us and creating that contact. So that's really important for us, given the fact that we don't have rim protection. So we have to compensate for that by just being more solid around the perimeter and not letting people get in there, because when they do get in there, it's really difficult for us to not foul.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.